Oh, I think I pressed start before I was meant to. Dashboard. Let's figure this out. What am I doing? Live. Okay, cool. So we've got live control room. With the Discord over. We've got to boot up the project. So I need GitHub. Together. Let's sort this out. Because I don't think anybody actually knows that we're streaming yet. So let's basically just send some posts into the Discord. Hope nobody shouts at me for adding them twice. Cool. You know what could be good is to put some background music on. So let me boot up Spotify. And I've realized I didn't check to see if the actual text is streaming. We're good. Cool. So many things to do. I'm always so unprepared. Explorer. Okay, let's load up the project. We've got OBS on one screen, an absolute mess on the other. So let's go there. Cool, so we got that working. And then we should have some background music. Hopefully it's not too loud, but hopefully we can chill out. And then I've got Unreal shouting at me that we are streaming in the wrong resolution. Apparently I'm streaming at 4K. We'll see how it goes. No, my luck will have some crashes. But we'll go from there. Hopefully it's not too bad. So yeah, cool. I'm really worried that the quality's going to be crap. Cool, so the idea is we've got enhanced inputs and they're roughly set up. So we should be okay. Oh my god, I'm just getting notifications saying that the stream's not supported. Let's just go with it, we'll see what happens. It might convert it. Cool. So one thing I have been working on is two-handed weapons. I feel really, something doesn't feel right. The floor's like in me. Must be my quest. Either way, it's usable. So, two-handed weapons. Let go. Really cool. There's still some bugs with this system to work out, but it's starting to work much better. Drawers, which are much nicer now, so you can actually grab them from where they are. But this has broke the doors and the levers, yeah. I can't remember if I've got it working with the door handles. No. But I can walk through the doors for now. Cool. And I can actually grab them from the hand point. So if I grab it at the end, oh, it's a bit dodgy. If we grab it at the end, I can do that and then let go, but I can also grab it at the center and then like switch hands. So there's a bit of cleanup to do, a bit more work, but I basically redesigned part of the template. So it feels much nicer, but I believe I can redesign like a whole bigger portion of it and make it much easier to use if I change over to the enhanced input system. So the idea is to try and do that rather than sitting through me setting all of the input actions and that. I've already got those in here, and these are basically a clone of the new template that's coming out with 5.1. So the idea is to go through and set this up and hopefully get it working this time, because if you were in the last stream it didn't really work all well. So that's the plan anyway. Let's tidy up this window. So what I had before is I started with the VR pawn, and the idea was just get the smooth locomotion input stuff working. I've also redesigned the grab mechanic quite a bit, so it's not as cluttered as what it was before, but still a bit of work to do. Compacted the snap rotation, which is quite nice. And then same as, I think it was just shift movement actually. I've got movement code in here somewhere and I reduced that really far down. So there, so smooth locomotion is now just one node and it's a function that's reusable for left and right, which is absolutely fantastic because it saves on repetition. So I'm just kind of going through and optimizing as much as I can. YouTube just keeps telling me I need to change my video resolution, but I don't think you can do that while I'm streaming. Okay, we'll have to see if that's alright. Hopefully it's fine. Cool, so where do we start? I know on begin play we need to do some stuff with the enhanced system. Search enhanced input system. So I'm just going to get the documentation up so I can take a look at it. So I've already got this set up, or at least I should do. Let's double check. Project settings, input, player input, enhanced player input, and then enhanced input component. Cool. So now Unreal should be using the enhanced input system, so we can kind of use that as a place to go from. Get the blueprint. You've got to do a blueprint on begin play. Just think of something like get player or get player controller, get enhanced input player system. I know a lot of people cast to it, but I don't know if you actually have to cast to it. Yeah, so people go from that cast to player Why do we not have a cast? Cast to player controller. So they do that and then they go through to the input system. But I'm not too sure if you actually have to do that. I do have a version of Unreal that's open. Not open, it's in Epic Launcher. I'm going to open up the template version that I've got. And I'm going to compare to the new pawn, or the new template that's in 5.1. Because the idea is to keep this as much like similar as possible. So, library. Knowing that you can't search my projects for 5.1 versions, or like Unreal versions, I can launch Unreal 5.1. If anybody's in here and wants to let me know how the audio is, that'd be pretty good. Make sure it's all alright. And make sure that we can see it. Where are we going? Why is 5.1 installing shaders? Oh my god, everything's going wrong. I should just stop streaming, you know? Pretty sure every time I start streaming, something inevitably goes wrong as soon as I start. Okay, so it would be from that. And then I don't know if there's inputs. Add mapping context. And then this one would be default. Kind of go through cast to enhanced input. I don't want to cast every blueprint though. That's the bit that's confusing me. That's why I'm going to open up the template. Yeah, I'm kind of doing a quick look through here to see what people are doing. That's what I want. So I can just go straight through, get player controller, enhanced local player system. Is that right? Enhanced input local player subsystem. And then input mapping context will be default for the player. So we pass that into our begin play. Think that'll work? And what we can do is we can do some testing, so we can do some print strings. So I know we have inputs, default. Let's do grab right. So I'll dock that. Input action underscore grab right. And then I'm going to do a print string of all of these, just so we can double check that we're using it. Cool. So triggered, started, and ongoing. Complete. We use grab axis because we set the scale mesh hands, but what I'm thinking is if I'm using the enhanced input system, these inputs can go directly to the hands. So if we're not holding something, the player resumes input or consumes the input. And then if we are grabbing something, then it kind of takes it as well. But I'm not too sure if we can use them both at the same time. So let's take grabbing. So it has the default input stuff. The grabbing is working. So can I just take that, and then we can pop that in here. So grab right. Just do started. Started fires once, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Cool. So grabbing's working. All right. Input action is called grab left. Started. Right. Grab left. Cool. So how the hell do we do grab release? Goes through to the player, and then we fire our logic to grab. If the actor's grabbed, then it consumes the input. Think this is okay for now? Just complete fire on release. So do it on right, because I'm right-handed. It's easier to use. Nothing. Okay, so complete is release. I'm going to keep these releases here for now, but I will be changing them around. I think we're using these over here. I just remove that. Let's have a look. Cool, I think we can do that. Excellent. So that's one lot that we managed to remove. That's just teleport. Snap rotation. Let's have a look at this. Got snap turn. On. Turn right. Turn left. So that switches the hands. Triggered, I believe, and then also triggered. I could remove this select. Oh, we need an access value, so turn left. I think it's modifiers. Scale? Nope. Okay, so we got that one. Turn left and then turn right. Modifier. Axis 1D. I think we're getting on the right track. Okay, so 5.1 finally opened. Although the template that I've got does not work. There it is. Okay. Open. So how's everybody doing? Is all had a good Monday? Yeah, let's see how this goes. I think I messed one up by putting it on triggered. Actually, no, it will update. Okay. Turn left and right. And then movement type, teleport. It then moves to the left hand. Excellent. Okay, so we're actually having more luck today. I think the benefit with this as well, I could put this select node inside. Do I even need a select node? We're switching between. I could do a branch. Have that plugged into both. They're gonna let me do. No. Because we're doing a dead zone here, and it actually has a modifier for dead zone. So what I could do, I could swap that out later on, just to make sure it all works. But for now, let's just do this. So it's gonna be a case of going through and just making sure everything's set up. Shift movement is controlled by teleportation. Yeah, use shift movement teleportation. So we just need to set up the input axis right. Go template. I think this is it. Move axis 1D. So this one in the default template has this axis positive only. So if you pull back on the stick, it won't do anything, but I haven't got that set up, so we'll just see how it goes. So AI move. Cool. Input action underscore move. Axis value. And then triggered. I was trying to set this up with one of the other, the same as what the other template is, but it just wasn't letting me do it. So movement's still working, movement type, teleport. Teleport is not working. So I've got a feeling it's because of that modifier. If I understand it correctly, so in move, we've got the blueprint modifier, and that is located in our inputs window. So in here, we've got it going straight across, but we've got no return value. So if I plug that in, I think it would essentially just go straight across, and then that would work. Okay. There we go. Oh, so it works. It works absolutely fine. Cool. I need to do it so you can shoot yourself. I love this system. The only problem is it's based on the controller rotation, so I need to clamp that somewhere. So it thinks that it's facing forward. That way you can hold it up and you can kind of have that feeling. Otherwise you got to tilt your controller forward. But that's stuff I'm working on. Cool. So this is working fine. This all went wrong before. So this is the stuff that's different to the new template, because most of these inputs are put inside of their areas. So at the minute when I pick something up, the trigger fires through trigger pressed, and then that goes through to basically actor that I'm holding. Whereas in reality, I can delete these and do it so when I grab the gun, then it consumes that input. And this is what broke before. I also had to heavily redesign this for the grab component. So if you're watching this, then don't be afraid. I'm going to try and sort it out so it's a bit nicer. What input actions have I got? Shoot left and shoot right. So input action, shoot left, shoot right, and that'll be these two. Got this. Do I need to do this one? So when the actor's grabbed, we say we're using the mapping context. And this is oh god, I don't know how to set this up. The other template that I was bloody updates, it's still loading. I can't even check how they have it set up in the new template. Well, that would be the case, triggered. And then I think in this case it would be started. And we've got two lots going through. I think they do a full check for this. I'm going to give it a minute for this other template to boot up, and then we can take a look at it. There we go. So they do a select. We need on event actor grabbed. Check to see which motion controller it is. In this case, we'll use that. It's equal to left. We do a select Boolean. And type input mapping context. There we go. So weapon left, weapon right. So if it's equal to left, the motion control is equal to left. It's going to be top one, and then it'll be bottom one. And on grabbed, we want to enable input. Get player controller. Go through left. And then we add mapping context. So get player controller. Enhanced input system. Add mapping. Wrong one. Add mapping context. And that would be this one. Cool. Screw we add. And then we can fire everything. I think that event's going to be fine. I need to do a full redesign of all of this. It just changes too much otherwise. Cool. And then on release, we disable input. Wait, so I'm looking at this one, which is the Unreal 5.1 version. So on dropped, we disable the input. Oh, it's remove mapping context. I thought it was add mapping context, which is why I was confused. So go disable input. Get player controller. And then remove mapping context. And that goes through. And rather than taking that, we're going to just Control C, motion controller, and then mapping context. Target is that's input system. I think that's done. And then we need the triggers. Pressed. Oh, it's getting confusing. Oh. No. Apparently I added an add-in to the stream. I really hope it didn't affect much. Don't think it shows me. Okay, so pressed, triggered. And it goes through. How have I got this logic? Let's see how it's set up in the other template. So it gets controller and then it sees if it's the same one. So let's move this up and detach it. Add, oh, not a timeline. We want a reroute node. I'm so used to it being at the bottom. Add a reroute node here. It's logic. This is going to be like a full redesign of the whole thing. Because we need to see if we're getting the right or left. So we can do that. We only want the main grip in this case. So main grip, no. Main grip controller, get. If it's equal to left, then we shoot left. But if it's not, if it's false, then it'll shoot to the right. I need these in this logic. That controls the animation, which I'm hoping to remove from here anyway. If it's true, we go through there and we get the motion controller. It's false. We go through there. So it kind of goes in loop. We go through there. Completed means we've finished, so we would trigger that. But the question is, it doesn't know which trigger released. Oh, it's gonna go horribly wrong, but let's try it. So we remove the triggers. We just want to see if we can actually pick up the weapon. Fire. Right or left. Although the trigger animation works. It's also getting smaller. How big do we want the gun? It's like a pistol. Pow, pow, pow. It doesn't fire though. Don't think about this, just doesn't look right. There goes the controller. Hopefully we're still alright. Hopefully protective case fixed it. We also need that check. Let's do some print strings. I think this is where I got before, and then it just wasn't working. So that'll be shoot left. Yeah, this blueprint's not getting any input. So these just aren't working. Yeah. Now we shouldn't be able to pick it up. We're getting a print string. It's randomly firing the right. That's alright, because that's not going through. Where's my output log? So I was grabbing that with the left hand, but it was getting the right. The motion controller is equal to left, and it'd be true. Ah, okay. Input action, weapon left. Action, weapon right. Go through. Was it you that wasn't paying attention to the way that switch was working? Oh, this is what I had before. It was so slow that you've got to fully stop, wait, and then you can fire again. Stop, wait, and then fire. But if you rapidly click it, it doesn't actually work. Completed. This will be a lot of fun once it's up and running. Yeah, I can't. Oh. Can't rapid fire it. This is the issue I had before, and it was really annoying. Let me check the input actions. Shoot right, consume input. Digital bool, no modifiers in the other one. Started. So the one in the template is running from started. But that's what I had with the right. Complete, we're getting the main grip motion controller, and then we're resetting the trigger. Tidy that up a little bit. Maybe it's something to do with the other logic. We'll go through that. I don't even think it was firing the hello. Ah, so it is firing hello. I don't think it's firing fast enough. Pistol. Let's just play sound effects. Try and debug whatever the hell's going on. Yeah, it's just so slow. It's not very fun if you've got to wait between shots. Is anybody able to tell me why it's slow? The exact same logic as the default pistol. So this is the default pistol one. We're doing the check to see if we're left or right-handed. It's just running from start. Shoot right, consume input, value type digital bool. I'm pretty sure ours is a digital bool as well. Shoot right, yeah, digital bool. Really don't understand the whole delay that's kicking off. Right, left. It's firing twice. That's not firing at all. Hmm. Ideally, it should be triggered. But I think that fires every frame. Yeah, that fires the entire time I'm holding the trigger down. And then it stops. So in theory, the other one should work. It should be started. But it just doesn't complete fast enough by the sounds of it. The other inputs work fine. why do the player inputs work fine, but then the grab stuff doesn't? On grabbed, we go through. Let go. The event actor grabbed and released, they're currently controlled via the player pawn, which we're not using. Actually, like, the variable shouldn't matter, but it's just not going from that. It's like just these inputs, like specifically the shoot left and shoot right, are just slow, and that's what's making this a real big issue. So I open up the other VR template and we jump right in. Grab some milkshake. I'm pretty sure we can just go up to it and spam the button. Go compile stuff. Why won't the menu disappear? There we go. So yeah, I can spam the button on this one. But as soon as we use the exact same logic in the other projects, it just doesn't do anything. This is not guaranteed to fire every frame, only when the action is triggered, and current input mode includes game. The hell does that mean? Where's the other one? Same settings. Yep. Advanced input action mapping. The same nodes. Do I just leave it in? What I can do is I can leave that in. Find my original firing stuff. That's for the hands, trigger pressed. Trigger left. Even though that just because I need them. I don't know if it's well because it's the player that's still consuming the input. So we wait, and then we can fire repeatedly. But if I spam it, nothing happens. At least the input's working. That basically removes this whole section of code from the VR horn, which in itself is fantastic. Mohammed, can I download UE5 on Windows 7? I think you can. I'm not too sure if your graphics card can handle it though. The main thing is RAM and graphics card. If you got two like good ones of those, I think you should be alright. But don't hold me to that. Not entirely sure. So we've got grabbing inputs. Just remove that lot, and then we should still be fine. I'll have to have a look into this and figure out why it's so slow. It could just be a bug. I might have to upgrade to 5.1, which I'm kind of really trying not to do yet. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'll tidy all of this up as well. One thing I did want to try was the hands. See if I can remove the logic from the VR pawn. And we run out of video memory. Oh my god. Don't get why it happens. Let's open this up. Hopefully we keep stuff. Yeah. Yeah, one. So this is a whole lot that can be deleted. So this is the bit that's next. At the minute, if grab actor is true, then we set the animation to trigger pressed. But I think we do that in the actual blueprint for the gun. Trigger pressed. Great. Bare hands, right. Open that blueprint. And then we want the component as well. Yeah. API hand anim. VR interaction. Let's see if this. Moto Day, hi. Thanks for jumping back. Currently just doing some enhanced input stuff and trying to figure out why things aren't exactly working and then why some are. So that logic wasn't even needed in the blueprint. As it's working fine. And that goes through to here. Trigger pressed. Get anim instance, that would be this one. Trigger pressed. This one here. So if we could do a check, maybe here, because this runs on tick. So we see if this hand or the player pawn grab actor is true, then it means we're holding something, and then we enable trigger pressed. But I think it's going to be a full redesign of the hand grabbing, which would work. I think it'd be pretty good. It's just really, really annoying that that's not doing it. That goes through if we're grabbing something. We need that so I can rebuild everything else. And then we've got toggle menu. But menu, I believe it's got both in there. Left and right. Toggle left. And then how do they do it? I also don't think this is inside of the phone. Ah, it is. Okay. So start it, toggle left. And then input action. Let's go menu toggle right. Started. Okay. So that is working. So currently the only issue is grabbing actors. That stops the inputs from firing rapidly. Okay, so just as up, we got about another 40 minutes. Actually, wait there, I'm going to put a link to this in the Epic Enhanced Input System channel. Okay, let's see if anyone can help from here. Oh. Alright, I'll put that in there. Somebody will probably shout at me for doing it. Alright, so I put a link over there, see if anyone's willing to drop by and help us out. And in the meantime, I can keep going through, set up the enhanced input for the player itself. But I think most of the stuff's done. Like, all of this is going to be, like, eventually I'd like this inside of the hands, which I think would work. Grab access right. Again, this will all be inside of the hands. Smooth locomotion, that's something we can do, as well as jump. What action underscore? Is there a jump? No, we need one. Actions. Input action, I underscore jump. And I believe with this one, our original setup is just a normal cool save jump. That should be fine. Oh, I don't think I have it in my default, so I'm gonna have to add it there, because this is the player's default stuff. So jump, so touch, Oculus touch, A pressed, I think it is, which could be changed. And then I'll go through and I'll sort these out for the other inputs, or should I just do them now? So valve index, right A pressed. Keep these so they match the order, and then we'll go through that. 5. Right. I'll have to figure out a Vive mechanic for jumping. Reality right. Does that also not have it? Okay, I'll have to figure something out for those inputs. But that should be it for this. Then we should just be able to do input action underscore jump. And in this case, it'll be started. Then we can test that. Jump's working. Cool. So the input on the player is working great, but not when it comes to using separate actors. So I wonder if there's a consume issue, like it's the player's consuming the input, and then the actor itself is only getting it every now and again. It kind of makes sense. But if anybody is here from the Discord, it'd be interesting to see. Well, I don't actually see anyone from the enhanced input channel chat very much, so a little bit of a pain, but overall it's alright. So teleport, we've got movement in there. Smooth locomotion we need to set up. I think we have what actions for move left. Well, we've got move, which is done on the teleport, so we do need a input action score smooth movement. Do you need 2? Smooth movement forward. And that is axis related. So that is the same as our move, which is a axis 1D. Axis 1D. And then I think it's just a dead zone. We already have a dead zone built in, so I might not need that. But I do think we need two. So duplicate. Right. And then we can use those to invert the values and then go from there, which I think should be fine. Oh, the spectator cam consumes input. Does it consume grab? Because that's the main issue. I never use this. I am using 5.0.3, so this isn't set up for that, I don't believe. So let's give it a shot. Save all, because it'll no doubt crash. Depends on what input you need. So the input itself that I'm having the issue with is movement's working fine for the player. So anything player related, the grabbing, that kind of system that we've added in is working. But if I go and pick up the gun, for example, I can't fire it. So I can't fire the gun for now. So we're taking a look at that because it was working a minute ago and now it's just broke again. We've got our shoot left and shoot right, which we're checking. That's fine. I'm started, and we've got our enhanced system, which we enable the input, and then on active release we drop it. So now the gun's just not firing at all. So why? I can't remember which one is doing the skill, so we won't worry about that. But if I try and do this again, because it was working a minute ago, it's so laggy. Our hand's getting the input, but that's inside the player. But we're not firing anything. Ah, there. So that's the example. Like left fired then, but now it's not. Even though it's on triggered. And that's the main issue. Is like these shootings just not firing, and it's the same setup as 5.1. It's supposed to run through this. So event actor grabbed, we enable the input for the player controller, and then we add the mapping context. If the left controller is true, then we use the input mapping context for left, then an input mapping context for right. But it's just, it's all messed up. But it's only doing it on actors, trying to consume the input. Oh, wait, there, is that right? Oh, come on. There's going to be some... Is that what it is? I've just got the switches wrong. If it is, it's going to be really annoying. No, still not firing. Left fires once, twice. So yeah, I can't rapidly fire it, but if I let go of the trigger and then I press it, and I do that between, then I can do it. But it won't do it on a rapid button press. And now right control is just not doing it at all. This is kind of the bit that's messing me up. I did need to fix that bit though. The question is just, why is this not working? That should be right. That's another one. So then the right controller works. So this should be back to where we are, but it's the same thing with the delay. There's just like a massive delay between pressing and reading started. But I don't know if this is a bug with 5.0.3 or if I'm doing something wrong. So there, I can press it, wait, press it, wait, press it, wait, and then it works. But if I rapidly fire the button, it just doesn't do it. You've got to wait for quite a bit as well. So left's just stop working completely. So is right. I wonder if that's something to do with the variables though. But either way, the input's still working. Still got that issue. Yeah. So if anybody's dropping by from the Unreal Slaggers, that's the bug. Or that's the problem, is the speed that this input action is firing at is just too slow. These are all working. Sort those ones out afterwards. Which bit we were on? So we just done jump, movement, smooth movement forward, input. Smooth movement, right. Very good. Let's see how this looks. Should be all right. So nope, now I can't move at all. That's probably something to do with the action mappings. And it's more likely the fact that I just created them and didn't add any inputs. So we've got to go to default and then new. Smooth movement forward and then smooth movement right. I take a look at the original inputs. Movement is right. And let them stick right. Should be left. I believe I can set these up in the player pawn, so if they're disabled, if you don't want to use smooth locomotion, then it won't do it. And it won't have them inputs at all. So they're working. Yeah, any input with the player, like in the default, is reading correctly. But anything else just isn't. I don't have it to pick up the torch. Yeah. They've changed that all around. Everything else still seems to be working. Sprint is... Okay, I can't remember which input sprint is. Just an action sprint. So let's duplicate jump. And sprint default. Like sprint, and then we'll do right thumbstick. I think thumbstick is clicked. So we can have a look at that. I didn't actually implement it. Input action underscore sprint. Triggered. And then completed, we reset back. Like so. It'll be interesting if you can have inputs for the controller working on different things. So I can sprint with the right controller. It is changing my speed, and it's not resetting. Plus the menu is also consuming that right input thumbstick, if I don't break my glasses. Action. Menu toggle right. Thumbstick, delete that. So now it's just consuming it on the sprint. Excellent. Don't worry about that. These are all just custom events. So these control a hand. That's the main thing. So this logic, there isn't any reason I couldn't have that inside of the hands themselves. So have an input action for input touched or trigger touched. And then it just goes straight through the hands, right, blueprint. Try get pawn owner. And then I think we'd have to cast to player. Yeah, so this is the right hand, so it'll be yeah. Get grabbed actor right. What is set I need to get? Get grabbed actor right is valid. If it's not, we go through the standard chain of stuff. Fine. We do this as a rough breakdown. But if it is valid, it means we're grabbing something. And then that would be then grip axis. That one. I'm full on wrecking this, but it's kind of the way it goes. So right hand's working. Low. Can this consume an input action? Input action underscore. It can. So we would have. Right, that's going to consume it from the grab component, isn't it? So if we're holding something, we consume the input. In this case, it will be a new input mapping context, and that would be called right hand. I think. I'm guessing. If anybody knows different, like let me know. Input mapping context underscore right hand. Context, and then I can go through the action underscore grab. Think. Oh god, I'm starting to lose it. Well, that would be take the input. Because we need the player to consume an input and the hands to consume inputs. And that's the bit that I'm not entirely sure about. Before we do that, let's just print string for the hands and we'll see which one we're using. So by default, it should be open. And then they should fire on tick. Doing anything? Ah, why? Nothing more frustrating than freaking crashes. This whole thing's going to need a full redesign. But it should be much nicer once it's done. Switches based on grab. Kind of like that. Not valid. We always need the hands to have input. I don't know if I can have them both do the same thing. Because I don't want to remove inputs from the player. So I don't want to remove the mapping context from that. But I need the hands to have their own. So the input mapping context underscore right hand, same as what we just did for craft. Right hand mapping. And then what would the input be for this? Checking, it would be grid. Actually, we don't even need one, do we? We will, but so right hand. When begin play, we have another mapping context. I think you can have two of these at a time, but I'm not entirely sure. I think that's where I'm getting confused. So it'll be interesting if you can have that two at a time. So we go through, it's false. It means we're not checking thing, but we switch. And then it goes through. And then it'll be a case of setting up the inputs for the other controls. So what we're checking, I should have left those print strings in. And here we're trying to see if this switches. Which this should do. So we got some ticks firing there. Grab. Nope. Question also is, my print string disappears from the screen, so I'm gonna have to check it on here. And then release, grab, release. I hate the fact that that casts on tick. Output log. Should be a point where it switches to blend. It goes to hello, so that's working. So I didn't plug that in. So this part works. Which input was that? Blend space animation. Where do I get the input for this from again? Get axis value. I'm pretty sure that goes through to blend space animation. The axis value itself. Set blend space anim. That's done through these. Set blend space anim. But now we remove that, so it doesn't need it. Which is really good. I think everything else is still going to work. Be interesting to know. So right is not going to the correct blend space. That's going to be a case of the actor itself would go through the animation. We go through. We're telling it what blend animation to use. This is just a check. It's super interested to see how far I can actually take this animation. No, that one's not working. And that'll be because it doesn't know what animation to use, which is where I was doing it in the blueprint, wasn't it? I was doing it twice. So in here was the skeletal mesh. Main skeletal mesh. Get. Set blend space anim. And that was it. Left. Oh, in this case it'd be right pistol. And then it will be the same. This will be the interesting part of like see how I can clean this up and improve the whole thing. Whoa, that didn't look good. Nope, it's just not working. The bloody inputs make it so much more difficult to use. Left's working. I can't remember if I was getting that as a reference. I might just have to do a full rethink of this. Because there's so much potential to change it around. I could always double check it against the other hand. Yeah, so it was going through. So it just didn't have a reference to use when it was down here. So if we can have it set somewhere that the hand can grab maybe. I mean the hand itself could control all the animations. You wouldn't have to send the information from anywhere else. There we go. Back up. It's so slow. Like I'm rapidly pressing the trigger, but the gun doesn't fire. So if anybody's just hopping by and knows what that issue is, then I'd love to know. Right at the other one. There it is. I got the right hand and we reference it and we set it. Because this is the stuff that would be better inside of the hands. let's say you've got this, and you've got your inputs mapped to the controls, we can then just call this grip access value straight into the hands. So it'd be like, if actor is held right, then we can go for it. I'm thinking I might call it. I don't know, because I'm getting a bit confused with all this. We've got the player inputs working and the VR pawns working, but the grab actors and that kind of thing is just it's really delayed and slow. So I'll keep an eye on the Discord for the Unreal Slackers and see if anybody can help. But I'm really interested to see whether it's actual a bug. Which could be an interesting one. But at least we made progress on actually updating the motion for the player. And all of this, I want to remove all of this out of here. If I can get this inside of the actual hands, I think that'd be so much better. I don't see why I couldn't. In the hand, cast to. It really annoys me that I have to cast on the animation update. Let's use the blend space. Actually, wait there. Can I not do? Then begin play. Get play pawn. Remote variable. Play pawn. Then we only do it once. And we've got a reference that we can use. Get that. Get is actor held. Oh. Get grabbed actor right. So we can use that as a check now. This could be the is valid. Bypass this. Right hand. Assume that. I still think I should have left these two up there. But now, I think I'm trying to jump the gun. But I've got the reference I can use. So I constantly updates. Get this. Oh my god, I'm going around in circles. That would work. I just wasn't too sure if we needed the check. Check the right hand. It works. Yeah, so we're still switching. That's really good. Oh, we got a access non-driver property on. I know it's a branch. Keep getting this for some reason. Don't know which branch it'll be. Trigger press. Let's try and add in a trigger press and then I'll be wrapping up. Save all. Input action. Input action. Let's go. Right. Trigger. This is going to be an access 1D. Right hand. Right trigger pressed. I think it's trigger access now. Let's use right trigger access. Save. That means we've got the right input in here. Input action score. Right trigger pressed. Triggered. And then into there. Let's take a look. Should be able to test this while grabbing something. Nope, so I grab and it's always on 0. So I wonder if that's just something to do with. I don't know why I'm getting that. Okay, I'll have to figure that one out. Let's ignore it for now. Right hand. Print string. It's really annoying me that I can't see my print strings on the screen. I just get more errors. Output log. Okay. This is the case of clip on get. As local input system. Pistol. Yeah, if we can play mapping context. I've got that twice. What am I doing? At the mapping context, we'll go through. Action mapping. So annoying. Go through. Because to me, that'd be fine. Begin play, cast the VR pawn. We add a mapping context for the right hand, and then we should be able to fire this. Let's see if it's just the action value that's the issue. It's just not working. Pretty sure that's doing what it needs to do. No, it's not getting any input. Oh, I need to. You need to enable the input as well, don't you? And for Rabbit, yeah, very nice to see you. Literally on a voyage here. Was in Discord sniffing around the Unreal server and just followed the rabbit hole. What is your ultimate aim with this? So the template that I'm working on is currently available on Patreon for people to download. And the idea is just make it easier for people to do VR development and kind of go from there. But I know that Unreal 5.1 now incorporates the enhanced input system as default. So the idea is to go through and add that to this template. So when people start it, they're not getting confused if they're just starting out with the default template and then jumping to mine. The idea is to try and get it on board with it, like get it both working. But I've just got to figure out how to properly use the input system. Like it's working with the player pawn right now. So VR pawn, we've got the enhanced input working in here, but we need it set up for the hands individually. And then the pistol is where we're having a lot of problem, which is where I asked in the Discord, basically. So for anyone dropping by, I asked in the Unreal Slackers for any help because what's happening is if we grab the actor and we make our way over to it. Oh, I'm having some bad lag. Okay, let's see if we can do this. It's a bit laggy, but we can pull the trigger once and then it fires, but we've got to wait. We can't like spam the button. We can press it, we have to wait and then press it again and then wait and then press it again. So on top of the lag that's already in the viewport for this, so it's running at a stupid screen rate. Is that better? There it is. So if I go grab another gun, we just go straight through this door. I can pick this up. We can press the trigger once and then fire and then we can wait. But if I try to continually spam the button, it doesn't fire, then you gotta wait and then go again. So that's kind of the main issue right now of where it's going and what it's doing. And that's also the bit that I can't figure out. So I'm not too sure if there's a bug or if I'm doing something wrong with it, but it does match the setup that's in the 5.1 template made by Victor. So I'm a little confused, just trying to figure it all out. So hopefully that explains it. And then I'm currently trying to get the inputs to go through to the hands as well, so the actors can possess them. So the player has input, and the hands have their own, and they're kind of consuming both at the same time. But it just doesn't seem to be activating, which is pretty annoying. We know this cast's working because this is changing down here, but the add mapping context just isn't doing it. Get player controller and then go through this. So this is an enhanced input and it's just not firing. But that could be. I originally thought it might have been an issue with the axis just not showing up or the action, but the whole thing's just not doing it. Because if the inputs can be put inside of the hands themselves, the hand blueprints, it'll reduce so much code inside of the VR pawn. Yeah, you just gotta like press the button and then wait before you can fire it again. The delay is ridiculous. I'm also getting this error now. And we crashed. So yeah, I think I've been going for about 2 hours now, so I think I'm gonna call it. Just because it's getting late, I'm gonna go for some food. But yeah, it's been good to hang out. If you're not already, make sure to check the description if I find a link to it. And drop by the GDXR Discord. It could be super helpful. I think how many people we got in there now? We've got almost 2,000 people in the Discord. So if you want any help with anything and you're struggling just as I am, make sure to hop by and then we can help you out. Let me get you a link to the Discord. If I can get it all sorted. There we go. Paste. So yeah, if anybody's in here that's not in the GDXR Discord, feel free to hop by, and you can even view what's in the template and all the stuff that I've been adding to it, which would be super cool. I'll click for this, entering cold, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Trying to answer the graph now. JavaScript and Solidarity deep. Yeah. You have a Discord. I literally just put a link, so I think that's you've got it. I'll go from there. GDXR is you. That is me. Yep. But yeah, there's all that, and then yeah, for anybody interested, there's a Patreon. If you want to download these files before I break them, you can head over there and do so. And all the money's going to go towards a Quest Pro eventually, so it'll be quite good. Yeah. All right, everyone. I shall see you all later, and hopefully the next time we do a stream, this will actually be up and running, and we'll understand what's going on, and I can explain it to everyone, which will be super useful, and I think it'll be super helpful as well. But yeah. All right, everyone. I shall speak to you all later, and have a good evening. Bye.